Hello, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Pulse Pods. You're listening to your host, DJ El Pablo. Are you trying to find true meaning to life and living? Then you are at the right place. Welcome to Pulse Pods. Listen and gain something new today. Thank you. Hi everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of Pulse Pods. This is episode 24 in the Live, Love, Learn series, and we are doing the 5 love languages. And in the last episode, we did an introduction into the 5 love languages, and we did an overview of Dr. Gary Chapman's book on the 5 love languages. And we said we're going to start with the individual love languages. And obviously, most of us know the 5 love languages, but I just want to thank you for listening and going on this journey with me. So this is part 2 of the 5 love languages, and we're focusing today on acts of service. But I'll still do a brief overview, and then I'll bid you to go listen to, the previous episode, and so that you can get like an understanding of my definition of love and all of that. But most of us know that the 5 love languages include acts of service, quality time, words of affirmation, physical touch, and receiving gifts. And we're focusing on acts of service now, and we often experience or express one more than the other. Sometimes we express all, depending on how we've the environment we've grown up in or how we've been brought up and all of that. But in terms of intimate relationships, acts of service, which is a focal point of this episode, is one that would be defined as doing something for your partner that you know that they would like or love. For example, filling up the gas, watering their plants, or cooking them a meal. Somebody made me understand that the way we express the 5 love languages is dependent on how we've been brought up or how we've grown up or the environment we grew up in and all of that. And that's true, and which would lead me to releasing an episode on that subject in March. So keep an ear out for that. So for example, like I said, in terms of acts of service and in intimate relationships, filling up their gas or watering their plants or cooking them a meal is an example of our acts of service. Acts of service is an interesting and effort-worthy, non-verbal form of communication that you can show your partner. So when you give acts of service, you give up your time, and this is a non-verbal form of love that can be time-consuming, exhausting, but if it is what your partner needs, then it is worth the effort. And that's what Dr. Gary Chapman said in his book. If it is what your partner needs, then it is worth the effort. The challenges in this is that a lot of people are not knowledgeable about the intricacies and the minute details about their partner's needs. And that is where there's a challenge. And then you hear things like irreconcilable differences, but these are things that you could actually just take, some time. I would go into a little bit of details as to how to go about this. But if we were to go further into details, we could actually delve into another topic altogether. So let's just keep going. The moment you are able to identify your partner's needs or your partner's love language as acts of service, you are one step closer to making your partner feel loved, and you are one step closer to showing your partner love in action. And if you love your partner, you should show them however you can. So whether it is in your nature to give or express acts of service or not, giving or receiving acts of service can be a learned habit. It mustn't necessarily come naturally. And when it comes to acts of service, here are 4 things I would advise you to do so that you can be able to show your partner that they are loved or make them feel loved. Now, pay attention to the small things. For example, what your partner wants to do on your next trip together, how much sugar your partner adds to their morning tea, or what time your partner's favorite show is on, and all that. Sometimes take notes if you can, or you can't remember all of that. So pay attention to the small things, Now, the second point I'd like to make you understand is that consider the things that your partner doesn't enjoy doing. So you've paid attention to the small things. Now, pay attention to the things that your partner doesn't enjoy doing. So if your partner complains about taking out the trash, researching financial terms, cleaning the space between the wall and the dresser, among other things, like arranging the home or doing some chores when your partner is stressed, or coming back late from work, or taking care of the kids, or you can even do tasks for them. Some of the responsibilities can be taken off their shoulders. These are some things that we need to actually, so first and foremost, focus on the small things. Second of all, focus on the things that your partner doesn't like doing. And then third, focus on the simple things. Focus on the simple things, acts of service. Acts that are easy to accommodate into your schedule first, and also pay attention to your partner's calendar, each week, to perform any acts of service. If you can find any acts of service, if you can find anyone to do. For example, your partner could take short breaks between workouts and going to work, and you could actually have a quick breakfast ready for them, for your partner. Quick sandwich or something would go a long way to showing your partner that you love them. And the last thing on this list is to utilize your partner's strengths. And you could offer your partner some assistance for something that they lack, as long as you can understand it. Now, it's not about, focusing on your partner's weaknesses and then making their weaknesses more, how would I put this now? Making their weaknesses revealed, or putting their weaknesses to light. So the most important thing here is to make sure that your partner feels loved. So utilize their strengths, amplify their strengths, and then try to use their strengths to build on their weaknesses. And so if your partner is not knowledgeable about something, doesn't mean you should make it very obvious that your partner is not knowledgeable about something, or they lack something. So if your partner prefers another love language, acts of service can also be very, very beneficial to the health of your relationship. So if your partner prefers another love language, you can actually, use acts of service as a way to, improve the health of your relationship by helping them to understand it, or understand acts of service, or express it. Now, whether it's part of your love language or not, make sure that you and your partner both feel satisfied with how much effort is invested in the love. So I would now focus specifically on those who receive love or receive acts of service. So it is important to let your partner know about your love language, or the one that you seem to give a better description of what you would appreciate. So it is better to let your partner know about your love language, communicate, converse about it. Make sure you are kind and patient as you ask your partner for the things you want. Acts of service are not easy to do, and you should not assume that your partner will do everything you ask them. So be considerate and respectful about your preferences. And it requires much effort and time to carry out or implement acts of service. But appreciate every effort that is received. How to communicate acts of service. Let me tell you how to communicate acts of service. Use action phrases like "I'll help." Your partner would want to know that you are with them and partner with them. That is why it is called a partnership. Actions to take while expressing or giving acts of service or receiving acts of service. Do chores together, or make them breakfast in bed. Go out of your way to help alleviate their workload. And then things to avoid while giving out acts of service or receiving acts of service is making the request of theirs a higher priority. So make sure that your partner's request is a higher priority. If you avoid making their request a higher priority and lacking a follow through on tasks, both big and small, then you basically not want to express your partner's love language, or want to make your partner feel loved or feel partnered with, or feel like they're together with you, if you know what I mean. So let's So basically, let's be practical here. So for example, let's bring it home. Let's try to make it more more relatable. So your partner just wants or needs you to love them the way they need to or want to be loved. I said this in the last episode. All your partner wants is to be loved the way they want to be loved. That way you fill up their love tank. Now, going out of your way to ensure, so sacrifices, going out of your way to ensure that they feel safe and secure is a sure way to ensure this. For example, let's come home. As a man, if your wife appreciates it when you cook for her, won't you cook more or show your culinary skills? There are days when she would come home from work tired. Won't you whip up something for her? What about when she's pregnant and too tired to cook? You can actually take the initiative to help out. Even if you can't cook, take the effort to learn. There's a lot that you can learn on YouTube, for example. So what she would love, make the effort to learn it. Cook for her. She would most appreciate the effort and the intent of your heart. No matter how simple or complex it is, she would appreciate the effort and the intent of your heart. So also, another alternative would be when your partner is when it's difficult for both parties to actually perform those tasks, order takeouts that she would love. How about when she's doing all the morning runarounds to get things ready and still make it to work? Don't just dress up and get ready. Dress up and help with getting the kids ready while she gets their lunch packs ready for school. Everything is all about doing it on time and at the right time. Even the Bible says so. To everything there is a time, and season. So when she is stressed and tired, you could also make her some soup or wash her feet in warm water or give her a massage or help her relax. These are typical basic examples of acts of service. You could also pop by her workplace with lunch, knowing she would be in dire need of it after a series of meetings and all. These are simple scenarios. You can actually improvise based on what she loves and how she wants to be loved. Now, I am specifically speaking to husbands or men here because I'm a man. And if you can love her right and love the right person right without expecting anything in return, trust me, it will be worth it when the right person reciprocates your love in your own love language. I wrote something very recently on my WhatsApp status, and I said, know God for yourself so that you can actually be the right person for the right person. And this is the surest way to find love and be loved in your own way and love language. Now, I said this because, if you know God for yourself and you acknowledge God and you do all the right things and all the basic things, you are surely on a path towards, loving your partner the way they want to be loved. Even the Bible was very expressive in Matthew chapter 6 when he said that seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and other things shall be added unto you. So if you know God, finding the right person, loving the right person, and being the right person won't be difficult. So I'm going to leave you with this. And I'd bid you to, be encouraged in loving your partner the right way, the way they want to be loved. And I'll tell you that love is just an action. It's putting words into action, not just talking about it. Like they say, action speaks louder than words. So thank you for listening to episode 24. We're going to episode 25 in another love language, which will be revealed when you click on the next episode, which will be released in the next little while. So thank you for listening so far, and God bless your heart. And I will see you on the next one. Thank you for listening to Pulse Pods today. We hope you've learned something valuable to help with your daily life and living. Pulse Pods is on social media, and you can literally find Pulse Pods on every social media platform where it is. Just simply search at Pulse Pods on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And you could also send an email to pulsepods@gmail.com for any advert, questions, suggestions, or sponsorship. And also subscribe to Pulse Pods on all of the platforms where you find your podcasts, ranging from Spotify to Google Podcasts to Anchor, and anywhere you find your podcast, Castbox, Beta Radio, Breaker Radio, any platform whatsoever, Apple Podcasts. And just subscribe and listen, and God bless your heart.